Welcome back once again to the Imaginary Gallery. It's TJ, your host. We are covering the early warning signs of abusiveness, answering the question from Lundy Bancroft's book, Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men. The question asked is, how can I tell if a person I'm seeing will become abusive? So we're covering the early warning signs. Next on the list, he or she is controlling. At first, it can be exciting to be with this person who takes charge of things. Here's a typical story from the partner of one of Bancroft's clients.
Our first few dates were so exciting and so fun. I remember him arriving at my apartment with the evening all planned out. He'd say, we're going to go to the tuna fish house for a drink, then we're going to have a Chinese dinner, and then I've got tickets to a rock and roll concert. It would all have to go according to plan. At first, I loved the way he would design what he wanted to do with me, but then I started to notice that he rarely considered what I might want to do. We kept going out to things that he enjoys, like baseball games. I enjoy baseball games too, but it's not my top interest. After a few months, he started to get annoyed if I just was not in the mood to do what he wanted.
Control usually begins in subtle ways, far from anything you would ever think to call abuse. The partner may drop comments about your clothes or your looks. You're either too sexy or not sexy enough. Is a little tiny bit negative about your family, or one of your close friends begins pressuring you to spend more time with it, or to quit your job and get a better one that pays more, starts to give too much advice about how you should be managing your own life's affairs, and shows a hint of impatience if you ever dare to resist any of his or her recommendations, or begins to act bothered that you do not share all the same opinions it does about politics, personal relationships, music, sports, and other things. Number 4, he or she is possessive. Jealous behavior is one of the surest signs that abuse is coming on down the road. Possessiveness masquerades as love. A partner may say,
I'm so sorry I got so bent out of shape about you talking to your ex-girlfriend, but I've never been so crazy about a woman before. I just can't stand to think of you with another man.
It may call 5 times a day in order to keep track of you and what you're doing all the time, or insist on spending every single evening with you. Its feelings for you probably are powerful, but that's not why it wants to have constant contact with you. It's keeping tabs on you, as we've stated in other videos, monitoring. Essentially establishing that you are his or her domain. Depending on what kind of friends it has, it also may be trying to impress them with how well it has you under its thumb. All these behaviors are about ownership of an object and not love. Jealous feelings are not the same as behaviors. A person with some insecurities may naturally feel anxious about your association with other people of the preferred gender, especially ex-partners, and might want some reassurance from you. But if this creature indicates that it expects you to give up all of your freedom to accommodate its jealousy, control is creeping up. Your social life shouldn't have to change because of this new person's insecurities that's come into your life. A person's jealousy can be flattering. It feels really good that this person's wildly in love with you, that it wants you so badly, but a person can be crazy about you without being jealous. Possessiveness shows that it doesn't love you as an independent human being, rather as a guarded treasure or trophy. After a while, you'll feel suffocated by its constant vigilance. Nothing is ever its fault. It blames something or someone for anything that ever goes wrong. As time goes by, the target of the blame increasingly becomes you. This style of person also tends to make promises that it doesn't keep, coming up with a steady stream of excuses for disappointing you or behaving irresponsibly and perhaps taking serious economic advantage of you in the process. Next, he or she is self-centered. In the first few months of a relationship, the creature's self-centeredness is not always apparent, but there are some symptoms you can look out for. Notice whether it does a lot more than its share of the talking, listens poorly when you speak, and chronically shifts the subject of conversation back to itself. Self-centeredness is a personality characteristic that is highly resistant to change, as it has deep roots in either profound entitlement in abusive people or to severe early emotional injuries in non-abusive people, or both in narcissistic abusers. Next, he or she abuses drugs or alcohol. Be especially careful if it pressures you to participate in substance abuse with it. Although substances do not cause partner abuse, they often go hand in hand with it. It may try to hook you into believing that you can help it get clean and sober. Substance abusers are often just on the verge of quitting. Fake. Next, it pressures you for sex. This warning sign is always important, but even more so for teenagers and young adult men. Not respecting your wishes or feelings regarding sex speaks of exploitativeness, which in turn goes with abuse. It is also a sign of seeing women or men as objects, sex objects, rather than as actual human beings. If it says you need to have sex with it to prove that you truly love it and care for it, give it its walking papers. Next, it gets serious too quickly about the relationship. Because so many men are commitment phobic, women can feel relieved to find a partner who isn't afraid to talk about marriage and family. But watch out if it jumps too soon into planning your future together without taking enough time to get to know you and to grow close, because it can mean it's trying to wrap you up tightly into a package that it can own. Take steps to slow things down a bit. If it won't respect your wishes in this regard, well, there's probably trouble ahead. And in my experience, it's like, oh, really? You're that much in love? Oh, but you can't respect my ideas and my views on this? I guess it must be true love. Ha! Fake. Next is he or she intimidates you when it's angry. Intimidation, even if it appears unintentional, is a sign that emotional abuse is coming or has already begun. And it's a warning flag that physical violence may also follow. Any of the following behaviors should put you on a red alert. Your partner gets too close to you when it's angry, puts a finger in your face, pokes you, pushes you, blocks your way or restrains your movement, tells you that it's just trying to make you listen, raises a fist, towers over you, shouts you up and down, or behaves in other ways that make you feel afraid or that make you flinch. It makes vaguely threatening comments such as,
"You don't want to see me get angry,"
or,
You don't know what kind of person you're messing with.
It drives recklessly or speeds up when it's angry. It punches walls or kicks doors in. It throws things around even if they don't hit you, or if they do hit you. The more deeply involved you become with an intimidating person, the more difficult it will be to get out of such a relationship. Unfortunately, the partners of these creatures believe just the opposite. They think,
Well, she does scare me a little sometimes, but I'll wait and see if it gets worse. And I'll leave then if it does.
but getting away from someone who has become frightening is much more complicated than most people realize. And it gets harder with each day that continues on. Do not wait around to see. Next, it has double standards. Beware of the person who has a different set of rules for its behavior than for yours. Double standards are an important aspect of life with an abusive person. And the last one for this particular video is he or she has negative attitudes towards men or women, depending on what the situation is. A person may claim early in a relationship that it views you in a light that's different from that which it sees all other men or women. In general, this distinction won't last. If you're a lady, why be involved with someone who sees ladies as inferior, stupid, conniving, or only good for one thing? sex. It's not going to forget for long that you are a lady. Stereotyped beliefs about women's sex roles also contribute to the risk of abuse. Its conviction that ladies should take care of the home, or that a man's career is more important than a lady's, can become a serious problem, because it may punish you when you start to refuse to live in its box. Ladies sometimes find it challenging to meet men who don't have restrictive beliefs about ladies' roles, particularly within certain cultural or national groups. But the effort to meet such men is an important one.
I know that you were sterile, but when I turned up pregnant, I had a lot of explaining to do. So I ran away. And look what came out of my Virginia. This creature. Look at it. What is it? Is it a boy or a girl? This came out of my Virginia, so it's mine. You're mine, honey. Whatever you are.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I tried to tell you that I was all these different things that you valued, that I mirrored off of you, such as loyalty, honesty, and faithfulness. Clearly, those words did not fit me at all. Notice how I never dropped character. I always acted as if I was all those things.
Well, I did those bad things, but I consistently told you that I was nothing but good. It put you in a place. I set you up for the game, and you took the bait. I told you I was honest, faithful, and loyal. You told me I wasn't those things. That was you insulting me. So then I could go to your family and your friends and tell them that all you do is criticize me for things I've done so long ago in the past. Never mind that I kept him a secret and lied about him for the first 2 years. But I didn't tell him that. I just mentioned you won't let go of the past. You have no idea what's going on in the present either. For you to find out at a later time. Yes, I set you up by deliberately doing bad things and telling you I was good. And then you were forced to tell me I was bad because you pointed out all the bad things I did. Which I did. And it got you. And whenever my other lover wanted to see me, I knew just to bring up one of those subjects and tell you how honest I was, to press your button to get you to tell me how dishonest I was. And I was out the door, my panties were down around my heels, and I was in the back seat of the neighbor's car, nude. It all worked out fine now, didn't it? This is how I get ready for my performance as a shady lady. I just take it all off, show it to the boss. If he approves, I strut it on stage, nude, and I take it all off. If you want to see, check out the Playboy.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's got the most beautiful teeth of them all?